So, but again, thank you for being here. We have a great presentation today from Officer Solis and Adam Downs from the PALS program as well, and a couple announcements from some of the other organizations here in town. So this time I would like to ask Pastor, we have you down here, Pastor Shane Webb, to lead us on the prayer. If you guys could please stand up with me.
Let's pray, y'all. God, we thank you for this day. We thank you that it's not so ridiculously hot. We thank you for the rain. God, we ask that you would continue to encourage and inspire us to serve this community, to make the world around us a better place. Lord, nourish us by this food that we are sharing. May it give us the strength and energy to serve your people. And we pray this in God's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Shane. And if you're helping us with the program today, if you come to the front so that way you're in the camera for those at home that are seeing us. We can't see you, but we know that you guys are there. I think I see Bob over there, and who else is online? We got David Harris, and we have Randy as well. So thank you for being online, guys. We are going to continue with Dr. Jose Parra leading us on the pledge of allegiance.
Yes, please stand, face the flag, put your hand on the heart. Go ahead and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, and we're gonna have again Pastor Shane.
No song.
No song today. All right. We actually have a better presentation than a song from Pastor Shane here shortly that you guys are gonna get to enjoy. So good point. If we could have Patty Caperton join us at the front. She's gonna introduce some of our guests that we have here.
Thank you for being here today. Our first song will be led by, I'm sorry, I was going to say Bill Lamar. Today, welcome everyone, Sandra Davidson. It's great to see you. Woo. And we welcome Carol Van Buren back, John's sister-in-law. I don't think so. Thank you, John. You will be making us.
Don't give him a microphone.
No. We have our program guest, and you will be introduced later. Welcome, gentlemen. And I'm going to introduce our wonderful Jeff Kober, president of the Sunrise Club, and he will introduce the guest, our lovely guests that have been at our table. And so, Jeff, would you come forward?
Let's give him a hand, guys.
Good afternoon, and thank you. Thank you for welcoming the Irving Sunrise Rotary. We feel welcome here, and we always love collaborating with you guys. Today, I am lucky to have my president-elect of the Irving Sunrise Rotary Club, Stacy Bennett-Vickens, and our chair of special events and social media, Belinda Gist. Great. Thank you guys for having us. Have a good day.
Well, if you want to go ahead and continue.
Let's go ahead and knock that out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and before we start the program and we have our awesome speakers come up front, we'll have the Sunrise Club share a project that they have going on with us. And it'd be great to work with them. We already work with them on some projects like the 4th of July parade, and there's more things that we can probably do together. So thank you for being here, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the Irving Sunrise Club is doing happy hour October 23rd at the Gingerman. I'm going to let Belinda explain it very quickly. It's one of our fundraisers. It's to fight against polio. Bless you.
So I'm not a native Texan and I talk quickly, so that should work out fine.
These are on your table.
So the Yappy Hour is a happy hour that's a pet-friendly event at the Ginger Man, which I think is just a couple minutes from here. And the intent of the program is to have some fellowship, but also to support the End Polio Now initiative. It is on Monday, October 23rd from 5 to 7 p.m. So we'd encourage you to come. If you have a pet, bring them along. You don't have to. And then you will enjoy food and drinks off the menu as you wish. And we would ask if you would consider donating $20 to the End Polio Now campaign. And if you donate $20, you can have one of these 3 items. So we're donating them. You can pick a human t-shirt or a t-shirt fit for humans. You can get a little doggy shirt for your pet, or you can get a doggy bandana or a people bandana, however you choose to roll with it. But it would be delightful if you would come out. We think it's going to be a fun evening. And there's some flyers here, and I'll also go ahead and email a flyer. Perhaps you can find enough to distribute it to your teams.
What if I wanted to get all 3?
You would have to put $60 in the jar, but you are welcome
It
to do
goes to
so.
a great cause. It goes to a great
So
cause.
it's possible.
Yeah,
Yes,
it is
is.
possible.
Thanks
And those
very
were
much.
donated by your company.
Yeah, so our company is RTP Pub Clothes, and so
They
we
do
have a
the
couple
shirts
customers
and
who
all
do.
of the licensing branding for Rotary.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Something very quickly, a Christmas and Irving date has been set, the Blue Christmas Toy Drive. This one is November 25th, Saturday here in Irving at the Simon's Flags. If you're in town for Thanksgiving, this is the Saturday right afterwards. Please come, have a good time, enjoy the fun, the merriment, and the fellowship. And the last thing I have, 2 weeks ago, the ambassador to the Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce, Mark Baker, contacted me. And he informed me, Jeff, we're going to have a blowout annual kickoff for the chamber. Would you like Rotary represented? And I said, you better know it. And he goes, would you like to invite your friend Rosario? I said, you better know it. So hopefully we'll work together. They gave us 2 tables.
Yep.
I see the sign right over here. That's a great backdrop for behind where someone stands. Belinda's going to do our special event that night. She'll be manning our table. I think all of Rotary needs to show up. So it's going to be Toyota Irving, October 25th.
I like it.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Always good to see you.
Yes.
And thank you. Let's give him a hand. Thank you for being here, President from the Golden Rotary or Sunrise Rotary. As just a little more on that event, it's a big event that the Toyota of Irving puts together every year. There's usually 300 to 400 businesses there that are present, and it's a big party at the dealership. And so it'd be great to give representation, and what Jeff was saying, if we are all there to talk about all of our progress and the things that we're doing in the community, and maybe we might be able to get some of those organizations to join and visit us as well.
One last thing I forgot, they asked us to provide a door prize. So Sunrise Rotary will provide a door prize. Haven't picked it out yet. They asked that the Irving Las Colinas Rotary supply a door prize. They said that's how when people come up to your table, they fill out a little name slip, and that's how we also get our data that we input to ask them to become members and things like that. So each club will do a door prize. Thank you.
Yes, and more details are going to be shared with that as we lead to that. But again, it'll be great. What's the date for that again, Jeff?
Wednesday, October 25th, 4 to 8 p.m. at Toyota Irving.
You got it. So we got some time to mark your calendars. Well, again, we did have a past president join us today. So thank you for being here, Linda. Yes, good weather, and she's here. All right. Well, without further ado, we're going to move on to today's program, which is PALS program, which I have a story to tell before I bring Officer Solis to the podium. In 1999, when I had just came to the United States, I went to Austin Middle School. I was in 8th grade, and there was this after-school program that was in place. And we used to go there because, well, my mom was at work and they fed us after school too. But they had these cool programs that once a week or twice a week, depending if you were enrolled, it would bus you down to this place on Rock Island, and we would do laps around the building. We would do a lot of different things and keep us engaged, but it was something that we look forward to. That was in 1998, and today, 1999 that I was through that. And so today we do have the pleasure of welcoming two speakers. First is Officer Rosario Solis, which, as I mentioned, since 1999, I remember his name being brought up just because of all the things that he was doing in the community. But he is a 32-year veteran with the Irving Police Department and is assigned to the Irving Police Athletic League since 2005. His responsibilities include recruiting, retention, and managing the volunteers involved in the IPOW program, as well as supervising the day-to-day operations, maintenance, purchasing, and budget. Officer Solis also provides supervision and registration of 700 plus kids per year who register with POW and oversee the daily average of 70 kids per night who participate in POW. And after that, we're gonna hear from Alan Downs, who along with his wife, Daisy Downs, owns Secure National Insurance Group and United Family Association. He's a father of 5 children and also the grandfather of 5 grandchildren. And he has been involved in boxing and martial arts for over 30 years. And for the last 2 years, having his wives have volunteered at the Irving Police Athletic League with their 2 sons who currently train there. And Alan is also trains and participates in the Master Division. They're also coaches and participate in a lot of different activities and the boxing field. So with that, I'd like to welcome, are both of you guys gonna come up front or one at a time? Okay, Officer Liz, if you wanna come up front and we'll give you the stage.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. So PAL's been around, how many over the history? PAL's been around since 1991, actually 1992. We started over at the Plymouth Park Shopping Center, which is now it's gone. So back in that late 80s, early 90s, Irving had a big problem with gangs. So a couple of officers decided to, when we were working the streets, we would ask the kids what programs or what activities is going to keep you off the streets. They were mentioning karate programs or a boxing program. Well, Irving had already had a couple of karate dojos in the area, so there was no boxing gyms. So we started a boxing program. We actually started the boxing program over at one of the police officers' backyard. But then they finally realized there's too many kids. The garage wasn't going to work out. So again, back in the 90s, don't remember the gentleman used to own the Park Shopping Center, but he gave us, he donated a spot. It was about 2,000 square feet. Again, it was strictly a boxing facility. Then moving from 92 to 95, Chief Benny Newman at the time decided, you know what, I'm gonna build you guys a boxing facility. So he did that. So from 95 to 2022, our house was over at Rock Island and Rogers. So our goal is not to make pros out of these kids. Our main goal is to keep the kids busy, keep them off the streets. I always tell parents that kids' worst nightmare is free time, because when they have free time, they're out doing things they normally shouldn't be doing, right? At least at the PAL facility, they're being supervised, safe environment, doing the activities that they love to do. Well, in 2000, we decided instead of just being a boxing facility, we decided to add other activities. We started doing the fitness program. In 2005, we started to add the urban outdoors, which includes archery, fishing, camping, kayaking, rock climbing, and hunting. So once a year, actually in November, we take a group of kids, 15 kids, to Lake Whitney, and we do a deer hunt. But before the kids can actually do the deer hunt, they actually have to go to the hunter's ed course. Obviously, you have to pass. Obviously, if you can't pass, you can't take. You're not allowed to hunt. You're allowed to camp, but you're not allowed to hunt. And so we partnered with Texas Parks and Wildlife, Texas Corps of Engineers, and they closed the whole park for us. And if the kids get to get a deer, they get to process it themselves. And they keep the meat. If they don't want the meat, they'll share it with one of their their partners. So now we're into 2023. Well, we just acquired the property. It used to be the old National Guard building across Irving High School. We just had the grand opening late July. So as of today, we're already registered 255 kids. Back at the other place, yearly we was registering anywhere between 500 to 700 kids. Again, we've been there for less than 3 months, and we're already at 250. So I'm hoping to triple those numbers. But the place is 3 times as big, so I want to have 3 times the number of kids. What else? And so again, it's not just the boxing. We have another building behind the armory. We call it the hot box because there's no AC in there. So that's where we're going to be housing the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, and taekwondo. I guess our martial arts classes. Again, all our programs are free. The money that's budgeted for the PAL, or the monies that we get through sponsorships or donations, all those funds go back directly to the programs. It doesn't pay my salary. My salary comes from the police department. The salary again for the PAL programs goes back to the PAL programs itself. Also during the summer, we host a basketball camp over at St. Houston Middle School, and then a soccer camp over at the Irving School Stadium. During COVID, obviously our numbers trickle down, but this year, our number, I think soccer, we're averaging 100 kids per day. Basketball program, I think it was 75 to 80 kids a day. So again, we're providing free programs for the youth of Irving. Actually, not just Irving, because we take kids from all over the Metroplex. We've had kids coming from Red Oak, Mansfield, Fort Worth, Collegeville, Louisville. Just as long as the kids are on time, we'll accept them. I think that's it on my part. Any questions?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
How are, so that trip that the kids need to go to the hunting trip, what's the selection process?
So in order to do the archery hunt or the hunt, they take part in the archery program. So from there, we see what kids are doing well in the archery, and then and we don't use the rifle, we use a crossbow. It's I'm not a hunter myself, but the first time I went, they asked, "Hey, you want to try this?" I'm like, sure. It's not easy. That deer has to be at the right angle. If you're taught that if it's not at the right angle, you're not supposed to shoot. If you're gonna shoot it, you got to be able to stop it. But it's not easy. Again, I'm not a hunter. I'm more of a sports guy. So, but again, and one of the reasons we started doing the other activities was because not everybody's into combat sports, right? So then again, we decided to do the archery classes. Now we're across Irving High School. We were at Rock Island. We used to bus the kids over to the tennis courts. Now we can just walk across the whole common room there. So we should be starting tennis classes next month.
How do you raise money?
Knocking on doors. Right now, so the city right now they have $40,000 budget for us, but again, 40,000 is not going to do much. So mainly, again, knocking on doors and begging for money.
Y'all had, I know when my husband passed, several people donated money to PAL. But, and at some point there were gonna be bricks or memorial bricks or something like that. Has that ever taken place?
No, so the brick thing didn't happen. So we are working with Fast Signs here in Irving. So they're gonna do our, we call it the 202 Club. So we got $202,000. I'm sorry. So we got $202,000 from the state. What, three years ago? But in order for us to get the funds from the state, we had to match those funds. So in 3 months, we were able to match those funds. So we got the money. And again, that's all this moving to the Army. That's how all that started. But back then it was going to cost us $500,000 to renovate the Army project there. And it cost us a little bit over $1 million. So we had to sell the property on Rock Island. I don't know if you guys ever drive by there now. It's been converted into a laundromat.
Yeah.
I can't control what the bar is going to do with it. Well, it was going to be a liquor store, so I guess better laundromat than a liquor store. So, but anyway, and so that's how we got to move over to the National Guard building. But yes.
So I just didn't quite get what,
So the people that donated the funds, their names or their company, all the logos are going to be on that banner wall. It's like 40 feet long, 10 feet high. That's where all the sponsors are going to go.
So where do donations go? How are they funneled? Do they go to the city and then are funneled?
No,
I know that's real tricky.
Yeah, no, it goes directly into the PAL program. So, so a lot of funds were going through the PayPal. When you do not PayPal, through the GoFundMe. When you do that, a lot of the GoFundMe programs, they take a lot of money from the donations. I'm the treasurer for the PAL, so people that were donating to the GoFundMe, I didn't know who was donating any monies. But if it goes directly to our bank or through our or just cash that are written to the PAL, they come through the police athletic.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Have you had any boxers who have participated in the Golden Gloves?
Oh, yes, sir. So we have numerous Golden Glove champions, regional Golden Glove champions, state Golden Glove champions, and now recently a couple of national Golden Glove champions. So last year I acquired I'm the Dallas Golden Glove franchise holder. So I host the Dallas Golden Gloves. So the Dallas Golden Gloves and the PAL is two separate entities. So I try not to mix I don't mix the funds, so it's totally separate.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So do we just hand a check to a policeman or? Y'all need something, how to give it to you.
So normally, again, if you write the check out, the address, our address is 1007 North County Road. Most people, they issue the checks and they send them out to the police department. If the police department gets it, then they send them over to me. Yes.
Should we maybe check out the PAL, PAL?
Irving PAL, yes, sir.
There we go.
But you're a nonprofit, right?
We are nonprofit.
So it's excellent. Okay.
Yes. And one of the things that I wanted to do, we are a youth program, so one of the things, and I've heard that, like for the elderly that have Parkinson's, I've heard that there's facts that boxing helps with Parkinson's. So again, we have a board, right? So I went to the board and I told, hey guys, this is what I want to do. In the mornings, I would like to have a boxing fitness program for the elderly. We went, we don't target the elderly folks. So that's something that I guess I would have to contact the National PAL, because we are members of National PAL and kind of fall under their guidelines to see if we're able to do that. I think we can help the youth, but I think we can also help the elderly as well. So again, if I'm allowed to do that. Yeah, that's cool. Mr. Dance.
I will do this. Hi, how are you all doing? Good. Thank you for having us today. As you can see by my bio, I've been in a short period of time with Irving PAL. So I'm, of course, not a native Texan. I say you guys, I don't say y'all yet. I'm still trying to get there. We've been down here about 10 years, my wife and I and children. Before I met Rosario Solis and the Irving PAL, and
I've been involved in martial arts and boxing back north in the Philadelphia area. So you can tell that's kind of rough up there. So when COVID broke, my youngest said to me, Dad, I want to box. I don't want to do martial arts anymore. I want to cross into boxing. Okay. Well, we live in Colleyville, so Irving Powell's a little bit of a distance for us to drive. So we found a gym, you know, $375 a month for him to go over and beat on a bag. I don't believe in training my kids. I did that with my older kids and it doesn't work. So we got over there. I got involved in USA Boxing, became an official coach, started getting involved. And my wife and I started doing the officials, doing all the tournaments, and we kept seeing Irving Powell everywhere. But what got my attention is the coaches, the kids, whether they won or lost in that tournament, they came out like winners. They came out with their heads held high. You see a lot of other gyms, the kids would come out and they're kind of, you know, kind of upset, not good sportsmanship, but they always came out with their heads held high. So we had the pleasure, I was doing we were to get a recertification for our officials, and I met Rosario. My wife actually met him and we were talking, and I wasn't happy. And I was like, you know, my two boys, you know, one's well, he's 18, he's no longer, he's actually getting ready to go to the Air Force, but my 11-year-old is still training. Can we switch our kids and come over there? How much is it? Nothing. So what do you mean nothing? And he goes, no, it's free of charge. You know, we're a nonprofit, and we went over, checked out the gym, got over there, over the gym over there, we were just talking about on Rockwell. And I walked in there, I was so impressed. Now you got to understand, coming from the north, when they had gyms, inner city gyms, it was the strongest that survived. You had kids come in there, if you couldn't box and you got thrown into the ring, you know, you were really quick to walk out of there like, oh man, I'm just going to get beat up. So I got in there and I seen these kids in this athletic league before they get into the boxing or the other programs. So well mannered, so well behaved, focused, and coaches interacting, walking around, not a bunch of crazy kids running all over the place. Because when I walk into a room and there's a lot of people around, I kind of like, oh, wow, especially kids. And they were so well mannered. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And it was so impressive. And when I got my boys involved in there, they just really took boxing and the devotion. Instead of 2 times a week, you know, now they're boxing all over my house, but they're so devoted and so committed. And, you know, I talked to both my boys before we came over here to talk, and I said, I want to ask you a question. I'm going to go speak in front of some folks. What made a big difference in your life when you started going to Irving Powell? He said, the brotherhood, the closeness, the caring of the coaches. He said, Dad, you know, we struggle, you know, yeah, we live in Colleyville, but we struggle enough as it is to fit in, you know, the stuff that goes on outside in this world. And he goes, when we're in there, we're all one. Doesn't matter if you're low income, middle income, higher income, you become one. And he goes, they were so close. And I remember watching some of the older kids that have been around for a while. My 18-year-old is very shy and timid. He doesn't like to talk much. And then I seen how outgoing he started becoming. I see my youngest one just working so hard, putting down the video games, you know. And let's face it, right now it is about these kids, you know, this day and age, they need programs like this. And I was so impressed, and I thought it was just going to be an athletic boxing program. And then I started seeing they're kayaking, they're fishing, they're doing all these athletic things and outdoor stuff. You know, you're not always going to have a child that's going to come in and want to do martial arts or boxing or anything, but they have a program that they can come to after school. And when you walk into that building and you see so many kids lined up and they're quiet, they're focused. You know, I was out back last night jumping rope with my youngest, and they were doing their laps around, and I seen kids that were struggling to stay up. And these other kids were just saying, come on, you got this, you got this. They're so close together. And that's why I love this program. That's why I started volunteering as a coach and getting involved, coming here today, because it's free to everyone. I mean, these kids get to come in there and have all these things. And, you know, I was telling Solis, I said, you're not building just a facility, you're building a legacy, because these kids don't have, whether they have money or they don't have a lot out there right now. Video games, that's all they get caught up into. This is a program for every child, whether they want to box. And that was the other thing that I gave him a lot of respect. I watched a lot of times where I see parents come in because they want their kid to be tough. I want you to box. He will ask them, do you want to box? Or do you want to do something else? There's other things to do, fishing. And that's kind of where I love being part of this. And I got to drive and travel 5 days a week to come over because my son loves being here. He loves coming over. He's like, no matter what, he's always going to be my coach. And, you know, this is where we want to get out in front of people to understand this is a nonprofit. Everybody's volunteered. We're all affiliated with USA Boxing. You're familiar with the Olympics. And so all the coaches that are coming through there that are volunteers go through background checks. You know, it's not just anybody can come in off the street and say, hey, Solis, I want to be a coach today. Okay, well, let's talk about this. You got to get certified. We have to go to classes for this, for coaching, for officiating. I am a licensed official OIC referee for USA Boxing also. We all are part of that along with my wife. We still battle on who's the better judge. I think I am, but she thinks she is, but you know, she's not here to defend herself, so I'm going to run with it. You know, and that's what we really want to get our point across is it is a nonprofit. We are all volunteers. Nobody's getting paid. Nobody's getting anything to be there. The coaches that are in there because they want to be in there, and it's for the kids. It's to give back to these children, whether they're 8 years old or 18 years old, that they have a place to come to that's a safe haven. You know, I was just telling Solis, I've been watching this one young man. I remember when he came, it was last year at the old gym. He came in, he was really, you know, you could tell he had issues and I don't know why he stuck out at me. And he was I seen him, we caught him starting to bully some of the younger kids a little bit, making comments and all that. Now, when I see him, he's respectful. He's talking to other kids. I see him, I was in the ring yesterday and I was looking down and I see him working with some of the newer kids going, hey, that's what that's all about. Is when you see these kids growing and giving back to the younger kids or the new kids that are struggling in it. You know, you don't see bullying in there. You see nothing but kids coming together, you know, and it touches my heart. I'm not an emotional person, but when I see these kids, I even sometimes look and it's like, wow, you know, I'm glad my children are over here. You know, my son excels. To see him get up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, he's like, Coach Solis told me I need to work on this today. And he's putting his phone down. He's not on his Xbox. And a lot of these kids, they're in there every night. They're not in there, you know, Monday, Tuesday. They're coming in. They come in with their bags. They drop their bags and they're going over and they're working out. They're putting in their training. They're doing their sit-ups. They're doing the push-ups. And let's face it, we're in a day and age, these kids don't like to put their video games down. So to see them being committed to the athletic department, the boxing department, you know, archery, whatever programs that Coach Solis is offering out there and Irving Powell, they're committed. They're there. And it's something that's open to them 5 days a week. And, you know, they're getting a lot of support. The coaches are really giving attentive, and no child's left behind in there.
Does this help with their schoolwork?
Oh,
Do you all know how they are in school?
So at the other place, we didn't have a space for tutoring. At this other facility, we do have a space for tutoring. So if the kids are not passing, they cannot compete. Back at the other place, if they were not passing, again, we didn't have a tutoring facility, so we told them, hey, you can practice, but you're not going to be able to compete. So you got to take some tutoring classes so you're able to pass. So the report. So Alan, he's been great help. He's one that I need to pass a lot of the work that I do myself to my volunteers. So that's one of the things that Wes. I also have Mike Karate. He's works for the school district himself. So he's going to be helping me with on during report card time. He sees the report cards and If they're not passing, then he or she's gonna take tutoring, or
So do the counselors recommend this to?
a lot of
students
kids
in the
are,
school?
are
So
referred
they're
to the
in tune with
counselors.
what's going on.
Well, yes and no. The counselors, you know, we go to the school, the school functions and tell them what we do. I had yet had a counselor to come over to see what we actually do. That's kind of, I wish they would come over to see what we're actually doing. I would invite you guys to come over between 6:30. There's so many kids there. Like my fitness program, Coach Don.
Or in the morning?
In the evenings.
In the evening.
In the evenings.
Good question.
No problem for you.
Coach Don Boki, he's been volunteering for me, since 93, 94. He runs my fitness program. If there's 60 kids in that class, he manages all of them. He's ex-military, he's 85 years old. But he
doesn't,
He don't
doesn't
put up.
look, yeah, and he really maintains that group. I'm so impressed every time I watch him. I'm over there. Sometimes I'll even jump into his class, just to get a little workout. I'll stay to the back so nobody sees me. He's really good.
Thank you.
And with all that, and with the programs, one of the things I did want to discuss as we moved into this new facility, you know, Rosario, so Coach Solis and I, you know, I'm with him. I see him 5 days a week. You know, like I said, I volunteer also. And when we got here, I was like, okay, so I see outside of what we're doing outside of the boxing, even though I'm more into the boxing arena. What's our next phase? And, you know, we've been discussing, so, you know, the building is gorgeous. It can house a lot of kids. It's such a beautiful facility in there. And I hope you all do come out. It's where you will be amazed when you walk in to see how well them kids are. I mean, really well behaved. It's, you know, you walk in and you see 100 kids lined up there and they're quiet. You know, that's like, so it's, you know, I don't know why at home, my daughter just left for college, but you know, they're louder at home than they are in there. I was like, why can't you?
Are they girls and boys?
So my daughter, I have two twins, two 18-year-olds. She just left for college, and my 18-year-old son's waiting. He's in the delayed going into the Air Force. It's probably gonna be January until he gets a job opening. And then I have my 11-year-old in there. So two boys and one girl there. But I have an older son and an older daughter. That's where the 5 grandkids came from.
So, I mean, do you keep both girls and boys in this PAL program?
Yes,
Yeah, it's mixed. Yeah, it's, you know, you're starting to see more young ladies coming in, and not just into our gym, but you're seeing them in tournaments now, you know, young girls, getting in the ring, and sometimes it's amazing to watch what they do. You know, I'm really amazed. But to further discussion on the future of Irving PAL, so Solis and I were just talking, some of the plans that's working is because the growth and where we're trying to take Irving PAL is we have a big enough property now that was the armory, correct? And we're trying to put a 6,000 square foot to house to even expand it out more. You know, we're right there at the school. Like he said, it's open to the Metroplex. It does not cost anything. So that is going to be the next project that's going to get started. And like you said, we're getting ready to add wrestling, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, tennis is coming up. And different programs are always trying to look for different programs to expand out into, you know, to fit all kids' needs. It's like we discussed earlier. Not every kid is going to come in there and want to box, or they're going to want to do martial arts. You know, not all kids are physical, you know, but there's so much other things to offer out there, you know. I know Coach Solis was saying about he doesn't hunt. I do. I hunt and fish and all that. And, you know, my son is excited because he's getting to do his October 9th, Monday, for his hunter safety course. And yeah, he's all my kids are kind of loving the outdoor stuff. So it's great, you know. And if you get on the website, you see them kayaking, fishing, hiking, rock climbing. It's just amazing, the program. I've never seen it in my days. Yes.
So in the 4 or 5 counties surrounding Irving, how many other PAL organizations are?
That would be the coach.
Dallas PAL, Fort Worth PAL. I believe Carrollton has one, but they only do soccer. That's it.
Yeah, I heard you mention that you had folks driving, sounds like maybe an hour away, or somewhere.
Yeah, they kept.
So they might drive to come
Yeah,
to
they,
our program.
you know, people say, oh, it's free, it's probably not even good, but. Before you can actually get into the boxing program is what I run. Before you can actually get into the boxing program, the kid has to take part in the physical fitness class and graduate into the boxing program. You can't just come in, oh, I want to box. Even if you boxing from at another boxing gym, you have to take part in the fitness class and then graduate into the boxing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You know, and then that's the other, you know, a great point to bring up about going through the athletic side of it first. You know, you have to be very conditioned to be in the ring. And the commitment that these kids go through to get trained and the shape they get in. And I've seen some of the transformations from that. You know, my 11-year-old, he was the chunky kid. And when he comes out with his shorts on and no shirt, he's got a 6-pack. I'm like, wow. And he looks at me and goes, Dad, what do you got? So, you know, they do go through some nice conditioning, and, you know, they're the ones in there choosing to do it. Does anybody have any other questions for me?
I just, overall, do y'all collaborate with Lively Point next door?
Yeah, so we just partnered with them. So that's what I told them. I don't want to compete against them. If they're running a boxing program, I don't want to run a boxing program. So they do archery. So what we're doing, we're combining our kids together. So instead of having 15 kids, we have 30 kids. So yeah, and so instead of doing it outside, it's going to be indoors in their gym. So yeah, it's working out great.
For y'all that don't know, Lively Park Youth Center is the old library years ago. It's right next door to the armory. It's right, you know.
Is that the one with the pool?
No,
We did have one that's no longer there.
Yeah, they got away. They got rid of it.
Pool gone.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, and before you guys go, as you guys know, the Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club, one of our pillars is to work in the community and work with our youth programs and seeing how we can facilitate. So the PAUSE program is one that this club has made a commitment to support throughout the year. And so today we do have a check for you guys for a donation. And it's part of our yearly budget that we include. So there's more stuff that we work for the PAUSE program, but this is just one that we have here for you guys. I could have somebody come and take a quick photo. But this is a check for $500 on behalf of the Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club. Noon. Thank you. Thank you. And on top of that, before you guys go, I do have a couple of tokens here for you. Actually, tokens of Rotary has, it's called service above self. That's how we live by, and we follow what is called the Rotary 4-way test, which we're going to recite here in a few minutes. But I remember seeing you in 1998, 1999, all through high school, doing a lot of stuff, which that truly means that you have a service above self mentality that helps to help the community, which is how Rotarian also lives, and same thing for you on the things that the sacrifice you're doing. So we want to present you with a token of the Irving the Rotary 4-way test, so that way you remember the things that the Rotary Club members live by, but also you truly practice that yourself daily, even though you're not a member of the club. So thank you. With that said, we do have an announcement. We're probably going to wait till the next meeting to do when we have our video up. But I do want to give you guys a quick announcement on this past weekend. We had the Irving Oktoberfest half marathon, which we had Pastor Shane over there helping out. Rick Lindsay was up there. We had a couple other people participate as well. We ended up with 1,836 registered runners compared to 963 last year. So we doubled in size, which is great. And then that just kind of kicks off for the rest of the events that are coming, which they're also doubling in size. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and conclude the meeting, and we have John Van Buren lead us on the 4-way test of the things to say or do, which all Rotarians should know, and our guests have a coin to read off in case you don't. So Pastor Shane, John.
4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Number 1.
It's the truth.
Number 2.
It's fair to all concerned.
Number 3.
It's the
4.
all concerned. Ding ding. It is adjourned. There's the ring.
Oh, I knew you could. Yes, but
I know these. I am.
This was great.
You need to wait for the bar. Guide you.
well, thank you for doing it. Oh, thank you for having us. Yeah.
I know you can, but if you ever talk
Call it there. Yeah,
guys. You don't want to.
Hi, Val.
How are you today?
All right. Bobby, you ready?
I need to talk to George. Right now.
Pull me on up.
Okay.